I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
All right, welcome to another episode of the New Labor Movement Show. I'm one of your hosts, Troy.
My name is Still Ray. Thank you for joining us.
All right, another week talking about local labor law and politics during the coronavirus. So we're operating off Zoom again.
Awesome. So, Troy, rumor has it that you have found out some more interesting news about why Spectrum is such a horrible POS. You know what it stands for, company. Do tell.
Let me hit the button. So,
hear ye. Reason 1714.
Shine a light on them. 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 Shine a light on them.
All right, so come to find out, I've got a call from one of our members stating, as everybody's going through the hard times, we were already in those hard times, so it just got worse for us. The waiver that was announced by the government, where we will be able to withdraw from our 401ks and not be penalized as far as the tax penalties. So one of our members called up the 401k company in order to try to withdraw those funds. So they called up the company and they said, yes, we know the government offered a waiver where the penalty is going to be waived and you won't get the tax penalty, but Spectrum has elected for their employees not to take part in that government program.
So even if you're a former employee, they're not going to let you take from their 401k pool and waive the penalty. They're going to still, at the advice of the government, they don't have to. They're going to go the extra leg and still,
Would you say right up here? Or
oh, no,
right
listen. You know what it is? It always seems like you could do no harm, do a good thing, or do the complete wrong thing, and they always seem to go option three.
Right. So the thing I wanted to focus on, because like during the strike from the beginning, a lot of us had to dig into that savings just to get by, just in order to survive. So a lot of options that were available to like a lot of people in order to be even able to take some money, a lot of those options were gone already to begin with. And then now it's worse.
I did, and I took it as a loan, and I had to pay it back by a certain time, or else it was going to count as income. Then I was going to get the double whammy. I took it as a loan, and as long as I paid it back or stayed current, I was able to whatever, and I did. I didn't take a ton. I just took enough, like basically for a month's worth of bills. I wanted to have that as a cushion, God forbid, because in the beginning, we always thought maybe next month. And then once I started realizing it's probably going to be longer, I made different plans and said, you know what, let me start paying back this money. And I'm going to have to, when you think when your original plan is, I have to hold out for say 30 days. And then you always say, well, 30 could turn to 60 or 90, maybe 120. Once you start getting to like 120 and, now you're hitting 6 months and now you're halfway through your unemployment, you think to yourself, we are no closer than we were before, and unemployment's going to run out soon. They're not talking about extensions. You have to start reassessing. So now that we've gone down this road again, please enlighten the audience how Time Warner Spectrum went above and beyond to say.
Well, my understanding was, because I heard some of the conversation of what he spoke to the representative with, and they spoke of he wanted to know different options he could take now besides withdrawal. A lot of those options weren't available because of probably other options that he used during the strike. So now they wanted him to be able to show proof of hardship in order to be able to try to take out a loan at all. And I don't know if this was because of what Spectrum did and specify that they weren't participating, or just because of the restrictions of the loan itself. But the problem was, you have a hardship. Say you have a hardship coming up. You know someone's in the hospital sick. Say even if they plan on a family member passing away. And from what I understand, and this is what happens, the person's family member passed away later on. I don't know if that's what they needed the money for. This is something that happened coincidentally, but think of that. You're trying to plan ahead in order to get ahead of something like that. And the person on the other line is telling you basically more or less, well, listen, you have to wait till you run out of money and miss a rent payment, or you have to wait till somebody dies and show us the hardship before we can lend you out the money. And then the person behind it, who you would go to the company to explain to them, is not only not helping you, they're driving the nail to try to make it worse. And it's just this raising rates during the coronavirus, not providing the services to the people who are underserved. Everything they're doing on every level is just out of this world, bottom of the barrel low for what this company does. But I don't see how it happens over and over again, and nobody is doing anything about this company.
I mean, it's amazing. You have all these people, these politicians who say they're pro-union, whatever. They're pro-poor people. And those are the people that this company makes sure time and time again that they stick it to as hard as they can. I mean, listen, maybe you don't like the union, whatever. That's your own prerogative. But what do you got against people, hi, your kid's going to stay home from school. Your kid's going to have to fall behind because you owe us $8.75 on your last cable bill. I mean, have you ever heard anything so evil in your life?
Yeah, like, listen, I don't want your cable. If they didn't force my kid to stay home from school, I wouldn't want your service, but they're forcing me. Well, just another episode of the Dirtbag Spectrum and what the things they do. Got some more dirtbag stuff on them, but we can only do but so much for 1 week. So another part where we like to shine a light on them.
Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
All right, so we're back from the Shine a Light. Going forward, right now, there's not a lot of time left between now and June. On June 23rd, is June 23rd, right, Ray?
I believe it's a Tuesday, June 23rd. I could be mistaken.
So
usually election day is on a Tuesday.
So
did you hear about the decision?
Which one?
The one where originally Andrew Cuomo, our governor, he took off. He took off Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, yeah.
He took off Bernie Sanders from the.
He did that directly.
From the ballot. What?
He did that directly. I thought it was the Board of Elections.
He asked the Board of Elections. He told because he's in charge of the Democratic Party in the state. He told the Democratic, because he can. By the way, he can't tell the Republican Party how to run their
election.
Their election, their side of it. Well, he can tell the general is different, but he can't tell them how to run their primaries. So he told the Democratic Party, basically take Sanders off.
Right. I was wondering who did
the Sanders campaign and the Andrew Yang campaign said. So the two campaigns, Yang, because he's a New York guy, he's from New York City, and Biden said, listen. Don't take me off. If someone
that's
wants
the
to
thing.
vote,
Yang is from New York, right?
He's a New York City kid. Yes, he is. I think he went to Stuyvesant.
I thought I heard that in his name, but reaching out, I haven't heard back from him yet.
Listen, he has been one of many people who are from New York who pretend that there's not a major union on strike. But that's a previous show and a future show, not this show.
All right. So
listen, and I thought it was the wrong thing to do. I know he mentioned something about the pandemic and. There is some
but it makes no sense. Like, the pandemic excuse can't be used when people still have to go to vote for the other people.
Listen, they voted in Wisconsin with the pandemic. I hate to use the word un-American. Let's just say undemocratic.
Correct. That's the first thing I thought of, undemocratic.
Little d democratic. Like, listen, let the people have a vote. If they don't want to show up, that's their right. If they want to vote for, Mickey Mouse, let them vote for Mickey Mouse. But let them have that right. When you basically whack it, whack the head off, you kind of to me, you hurt the process.
Right. So if we're gonna decide to pick a winner, we got to figure out, okay, what do we want that winner to represent? So, right, as we go deeper into this, we're gonna have all the candidates up, and we're gonna try to go through their records and what they stand for. But
Agreed.
we already have to have kind of a bar of what we want to see happen, so we can judge them on.
What are we looking
That's
for?
what we're gonna discuss this show.
I agree. I think that obviously, since we're a labor show, we should the candidate should at least be doesn't hurt union, but I would prefer pro-union, prevailing wage.
Right.
Prevailing wage would answer not all, but a big chunk of union versus non-union problems.
That's definitely going to be a category, because anybody that tell me they're not for prevailing wage, it's fine. You could have your stance, but I just need to know why.
And while I'm all for people making as much money as they can, I am also for everyone getting a slice of the pie.
Right.
Like, there is such a thing as, too much profit, too much. I mean, all right, you're going to make 8%. You're going to screw the average guy so you can make 82%.
Right.
I mean, let the average guy have something.
Right. All right, so let's put that down as one of your categories. So first one is going to be prevailing wage.
I also think that we should look at how they deal with infrastructure.
Okay.
Like, for people who were in office already, we could see, did they vote for LaGuardia? Have they voted for MTA jobs?
Okay.
Are there future jobs that they're looking into, like expansions of maybe more MTA work, or maybe they're into like expanding the ferries or the bus,
I would like to see something for helping trying to rebuild the bridges and tunnels.
Listen, in other words, have they been done? Are they into like upgrading? Maybe they want to upgrade the schools, maybe, right, or hospitals.
Let me ask you a question: Would more investment in green jobs, new jobs and green jobs, that be considered part of infrastructure?
I would think if you are looking into the future and you're trying to reduce traffic, like things like the ferry,
that should be a separate category, or should we lump that in with infrastructure?
You have to.
For that, I'll give you one. I'll take one. So we're going to make two categories to that. One is infrastructure, and one is green jobs.
Listen, I think, especially in a democratic city, I would think that you need to be, all these people should have at least something, have put their foot in the green pool. I mean, I think we should also look into, like, have any of these people said anything about, like, hey, if you want a job in New York and we give you, whether it be actual money or whether we give you tax breaks, which is you not giving us money so you can be here, that I think that there should be a minimum, whether it be a prevailing wage or X amount of the job has to be union or something of that nature. I wonder if we could find if any of these people have said anything about that, which also ties into what you said.
Well, that's something like,
in other words, if you take state money, we should be able to look into your work history and like, wow, 10 people died on your job and you've never used union, and or you have lawsuits against you that says, like, the last union you used or the last group of people you used, they're all suing you because they haven't been paid yet. I think that should all be part of it, and I think that goes back to what you were saying.
Right, look into your history, and I'm gonna look at your company. And this is the thing, because I don't believe in any no investment outside of the U.S. I think having investment outside the U.S., especially if you're starting business, sometimes is necessary. But I want to look at a percentage of your company. You're now a $1 billion company. What percentage of your company uses USA manufacturing? What percentage of USA workers? And if you're not at a certain percentage that we set, you're not getting any tax breaks from New York.
In other words, you could be, say, non-union, and we're a pro-union guy. We want everyone to go union. But say you're a non-union guy. You just worked for ABC Plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
You would at least want this company to say, all right, I'm not going to use union in New York, but union guys build the pipes I send here. And all the material I bring into the building is made here in the United States, preferably in New York. And that's another way you could kind of qualify. So at least maybe it would suck that maybe the city guys wouldn't be getting that money, but maybe other unions in the state could be getting that money indirectly.
Okay, so that's going to be a category. Check to see percentage of U.S.-based job creation
Production?
and manufacturing.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
Did you have another one on your list?
Yeah. So this one I was thinking about is actually making a new kind of law. So I was thinking something about maybe forming like it was something towards one of the other presidential candidates' campaigns talking about empowering the workers and putting them on the boards for companies. I'm not sure how good that will work in New York because a lot of companies come in but I was thinking of maybe creating a committee of labor. So it would be a labor elected project procurement committee, and they will review companies to see something like what we were talking about as far as their safety record and so forth.
Now, I like that idea. I know in Germany they do that, like a lot of the places.
You know what? I think that what I was talking about with the labor procurement, I don't think that would be its own category either. I think that would go to the same category with what percentage of USA-based manufacturing or jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think, like I said, and which falls under the umbrella, are they pro-union or not?
Right. I would say this might be a category though. Are you for putting new laws in place to strengthen bargaining unit rights and laws?
I would, yes, because you could be pro-union and think everything's fine now, but you could go a step above and say, not only do I want it to be pro-union, I want the union to have like,
legislation in place behind it.
more assurances that they're going to be dealt fair. Because think about it. I don't know if we were kind of in the same loop as them. All those guys for Cablevision, look how long it took them to get. It took them like 2, 3, 4 years to finally win the right to organize. Then they organized, and the company wouldn't negotiate a fair contract with them.
Right.
For that.
Because the thing is right now, if you have to depend on the NLRB in order to be able to make some of these decisions, a lot of them are not going our way. So why don't we create some state rights that we can have in order to try to put pressure on people when the federal government is not in the way of helping it?
Well, listen, the NLRB is like the baseline. It determines many things that are either the right or the wrong. Nowhere in the NLRB does it say that New York City can't say, you know what? We abide by the NLRB, but if you want to do business here, we also have this. NLRB's here, our bar's right here,
correct.
And
state rights.
we're the most densely populated city in the country, and if you want to do business here, and you're gonna have to put up just a little more.
You know what? This one I think gets swallowed up into that as well, because I was thinking about the Employee Free Choice Act. That was something that was supposed to get put in place, but it never got codified into actual law. I remember during the Obama administration, it was something that he said he would support, but right?
It was the one thing. I guess I was never an Obama guy. No offense. I don't even think I was a John McCain guy either. I think we had, anyway. But the one thing I said, he got elected. You give the guy his 100 days, see what he can do. And the one thing he said was, if 51% of the people working there want a union, you get a union. And for whatever reason, it never went through. And it was funny because when he first got in, they had the Senate, they had the House, and they had a supermajority, which means they, they could have really pushed that through. And for whatever reason, that kind of.
I think that got put to the side for the healthcare, but let's not get too much into the presidential stuff.
100%.
But
yeah,
I think that will go into basically the strengthening bargaining rights and laws category.
Like I said, I think we should be doing everything we can in this country to make it easier to join a union and form a union, not harder. And while I said I love El Presidente for a lot of things, his NLRB has been very, very, very questionable.
Demonstrative.
It was questionable under Obama. But it's straight up suspect. It's actually, believe it or not, it's actually doing harm to unions. And it like I said, I'm a type of guy. I'm not a party guy or a candidate guy. I'm an issues guy. And if you could show me a Democrat who was pro union and wasn't so way out in left field in so many other areas, that I would be that. But I think the political establishments in both parties have set up where you have to, in other words, you have to be so dogmatic. Like, in other words, you're this or you're that. You're this, like you can't be pro-union and pro-guns. There's no candidate who's pro-union, pro-Second Amendment. There's no person who is.
Okay, let's not go here because we're gonna go. I don't know any pro-union candidate that's not pro-Second Amendment.
What? No, that's not true. That's not true.
We're gonna
not
get
going
into a
there.
whole different topic. Let's not go there.
Agreed, but it's not true. But I think, by the way, just one last thing. I think it's put that way on purpose because let's be honest. I'll say, imagine if you had a candidate who was, say, pro-choice, pro-gun, pro-union, America first, family first. That guy would win like 80% of the vote and never come anything down. But if you notice, half those things I said are on this side, half those things I said are on that side. And I think it's by design. Because
honestly, I don't think any of those things. I think most of the candidates have those things all together, but I think it's a forced narrative or perception that makes it seem opposite. Because just alone on the pro-gun statement, I don't know any, let's say, Democratic candidate, because that's what say any Democratic candidate that is not pro Second Amendment. That's a fallacy.
Biden.
But we're gonna go.
Other thing, we should do an after show because I could give you 4 things that Biden is not with the Second Amendment.
All right, so let's go on. We'll just deep into that another time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's different. Employee Free Choice Act, that will go back into the same category.
Right.
This is a category I think would stand alone by itself. What do you think about making a category for democracy dollars? Do you know that? You know that term?
I have. Please educate me.
So one of the candidates was talking something about, and this is a way to try to give people back more power in the elections. So taking back big corporate money out of elections so they can't have as much influence. So what democracy dollars, from my understanding, would do is every citizen would get a certain amount of democracy dollars that they would be able to donate to their candidates during election time. And then the government would match that money. And this would be how candidate races would get funded. So we get funded by the people instead of being able to be overly funded by these big corporations.
Again, 2 issues I have with it. One, and not necessarily bad issues. I think you and I are same church, different pews. I think giving people money, matching money, I think that's way too complicated.
Don't worry, you don't got to figure it out. They already got to figure it out.
I understand that, but I think the average person, too much for I think an easier way, and I think a way you really cut it at the ankles is you could have it where the government matches whatever the guy makes, the person the government would match. Number one, that's a way to do it. Or what you do is every single radio, every single TV station all has to have an FCC license. And what you put in those new licenses, which they would fight to the hilt, is everyone gets the same amount of free airtime on radio and TV. It's essentially the same thing.
Right. So what I think what the category should be then, a way category, redistribution of election power to people. Redistribution of election power to people.
In other words, all
they talk about how they would do it.
Listen, I would just like someone to have any idea. I don't care if he says, I want to get paid for push-ups. He has any idea that where it levels the playing field, that how much money you have doesn't determine how well you do in an election.
Well, so that we're going to just leave that category as redistribution of election power.
Correct. Because
we'll come up with a better name if necessary. One other one I had was I think it should be a category about creating affordable housing. I want to hear people's ideas for that, of ways they think it could be done, because I think that's important as far as helping everybody out. If we could create more affordable housing, we could help get rid of the homeless. We could help create just a better situation in the city, period, especially with people able to get by more. If you have less money you spend on housing, you have more money to contribute to our economy. I think that's just a category that should be in there.
I think affordable housing is, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. I'm not pro one plan or anti another plan, but I at least want to see that this person has a plan about it. Has a plan. Like if you go to the person, what do you think about public housing? He goes, not much. All right, that's a strike against you. Not so much.
All right. What did you have any other categories you think should get added?
No, I'm hoping, like I said, I think there's a bunch of categories here. I think we're probably gonna have to calm it down to like 3.
No. We can leave all these up because you got to think about it, and we'll see this as we go through. We're gonna have all the candidates, and we're gonna have the categories, and as people come, because some of these categories might not even make the list. What I would like to do is for our audience, because we got a lot of people here are working men and women. They have an idea of things they think should happen for the city. If there's something that you think an elected official should be doing that's already there, or something that's not in place that should become a law, that should become a category, let us know about it, and we'll put it on the list, and we can see where they stack up next to it.
You know what? I'm all for what was I gonna say? Choice. The more choice you give people, the better results you get.
Okay. All right. I mean, really, that's it for this show. This show's been the brainstorm. Now, from here on out, we're going to put the candidates up to the test and see where they stack up against what we want to see.
So now it's time for our homework. We have to, some of these people who are coming in for the first time, they may not have nothing or nothing, so we don't know.
They get the good spot because they get to sell you on promises. The other people got to go by record.
I agree.
All right. So, I mean, that's it for this week. I am Troy.
I am still Ray.
And this is the New Labor Movement Show. Until next week, everybody.
Y'all won't try, don't nobody care about us. And that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't want to see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws. They the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members.